Geometric intersections of cylinders, mathematical modeling, and biomedical applications. Geometry plays a fundamental role in computational modeling, allowing complex physical systems to be represented by simple mathematical objects. In particular, the study of intersections between particle trajectories and geometrical surfaces has become an essential component of computational physics and biomedical modeling. Surfaces such as planes, cylinders, cones, and spheres appear naturally in physical simulations and engineering problems. In particular, cylinder intersection methods developed for computational geometry have found applications in electron-photon Monte Carlo calculations, physics-informed geometric modeling, biomedical simulations, and what we're focusing on today, minimum invasive surgery techniques. In this presentation, we will review the geometric methods developed for intersections involving planes and conic surfaces, discuss their applications in electron-photon Monte Carlo calculations, explore how these mathematical concepts extend to minimum invasive neurosurgery, and highlight current challenges and potential future applications in geometric modeling. This presentation revisits the result of Valluri et al. And explores other research studies and their connections to modern biomedical applications. Monte Carlo methods are widely used to simulate the interaction and transport of particles. During a simulation, particle trajectories must be tracked through complex geometries. A fundamental computational problem is determine where a particle trajectory intersects a geometric boundary. Efficient intersection calculations allow simulations to accurately determine collision locations, boundary crossings, and particle paths. Important geometric surfaces can include planes, cylinders, cones, and spheres. These methods provide the foundational for physics-informed geometric modeling. Before discussing the biomedical applications, I would first like to introduce the mathematical foundation behind this work, the intersection of particle trajectories with geometric surfaces. In many computational problems, we need to understand how an object moving through space interacts with its surrounding environment. And in the context of particle simulations, a particle trajectory is often represented as a straight line, while the surrounding environment is represented using geometric surfaces. The fundamental question is, where does the trajectory intersect the surface, and does an intersection occur at all? The surface of interest in this work include planes and conic surfaces such as cylinders, cones, and spheres. These geometric objects are important because they provide simple mathematical descriptions of many physical structures. For example, a cylinder can represent a tube-like structure, while a sphere can represent a bounded region in space. Mathematically, the problem involves solving a system where the equation of the particle trajectory is combined with the equation defining the surface. By substituting this trajectory into the equation of a surface, we can determine the points where the particle interacts with that surface. Although this might appear to be a simple geometric problem, it becomes computationally significant when millions of trajectories must be evaluated. This is the reason geometric intersection algorithms are essential in computational physics and Monte Carlo simulations. This brings us to the connection between geometric modeling and minimum invasive surgery. The key idea is that the surgical procedure can be represented as a geometric intersection problem. The surgical trajectory can be modeled as a line in three-dimensional space, and the cylindrical guide can be represented as a cylinder surrounding this trajectory. The tumor can be represented as a three-dimensional target region, and the surrounding brain structures can be represented using different geometric boundaries. Once these components are mathematically defined, we can analyze their relationships. For example, we can ask, does the planned trajectory intersect the tumor? Does the cylindrical pathway pass through the critical brain structures? And what trajectory provides the best access while minimizing damage? These are fundamentally geometric questions. The reason planes and conic surfaces are useful is because they provide mathematically tractable descriptions of 3D structures. Simple geometric models allow researchers to perform calculations efficiently and make predictions about complex systems. This demonstrates an important connection. Mathematical methods originally developed for particle transport can provide insight into biomedical problems. The same principle of finding intersections, determining boundaries, and optimizing trajectories appear in both applications. In the math behind minimum invasive surgery, two foundational operations in algebraic geometry are used. The goal of minimally invasive neurosurgery is to treat neurological conditions while minimizing damage to a healthy brain tissue. The brain is an extremely complex structure where important regions are located close together. Because of this, surgical procedures require extremely precise localization and planning. Instead of creating a large opening and directly accessing the targeted area, minimally invasive approaches use carefully planned trajectories to reach specific regions of the brain. These trajectories are determined using medical imaging and coordinate-based localization methods. The challenge is that surgeons need to answer a geometric question. What is the safest path from the entry point to the target while avoiding important structures? This is where mathematical modeling becomes valuable. The surgical pathway can be represented using geometric objects. The trajectory can be represented as a line, and the surgical access pathway can be represented as a cylinder. Therefore, the same types of intersection problems studied in computational geometry become relevant in a clinical setting. A specific example of minimally invasive neurosurgery is stereotactic volumetric resection for brain tumors. In this procedure, the first step is identifying the tumor location using medical imaging techniques such as MRI. Once the tumor location is known, a surgical trajectory is selected. This trajectory defines the path that surgical instruments will follow to reach the tumor. A cylindrical guide is then inserted along this predetermined trajectory. The purpose of this cylindrical guide is to provide controlled access to the tumor while reducing disruption to surrounding healthy brain tissue. Once the guide is positioned within the tumor cavity, different instruments can be introduced through the cylindrical pathway, including suction devices, lasers, or conventional surgical tools. The advantage of this approach is that the surgeon can remove the tumor through a small access pathway rather than disturbing a large region of the brain. From a mathematical perspective, this procedure contains several geometric components: the trajectory of the instrument, the cylindrical guide, the tumor boundary, and the surrounding anatomical structures. Understanding the relationship between these objects is essential for planning and optimizing the procedure. Although the cylindrical guide has significantly improved minimum invasive neurosurgery by reducing damage to healthy brain tissue, it is not without limitations. One of the main drawbacks is its limited working space. Because the Vusate tubular retractor has a tapered design, the opening at the tip is narrower than the opening at the base. While this design minimizes tissue disruption during insertion, it also restricts the surgeon's ability to manipulate instruments once inside the surgical corridor. Another challenge is that brain tumors rarely have regular geometric shapes. Their borders are often irregular and difficult to distinguish from healthy brain tissue. As a result, the surgeon may need to reposition the tubular retractor several times to visualize the entire tumor. However, repeatedly moving the retractor can increase pressure on surrounding brain tissue, and its effect on patient outcomes is still not fully understood. To overcome these limitations, researchers have proposed combining the tubular retractor with traditional brain spatulas. The tubular retractor is first used to create a safe surgical corridor, after which brain spatulas can provide a wider operative field and better visualization of irregular tumor boundaries. This hybrid approach maintains the minimally invasive benefits of the cylindrical guide while improving surgical access and flexibility. From a mathematical perspective, these limitations also suggest opportunities for future research. Much of the current modeling assumes idealized cylinders and smooth surfaces, whereas real anatomical structures are irregular and patient-specific. Developing more realistic geometric models, integrating real-time imaging, and optimizing surgical trajectories using computational methods could further improve both the accuracy and safety of minimum invasive surgery. In the slide previously, we saw another example of stereotactic volumetric reinsertion. However, note that the METRX system is not officially approved or indicated for brain surgery. The application of geometric intersections is not limited to neurosurgery. Another important area is cardiovascular modeling. Blood vessels can often be approximated using cylindrical structures, and intersections between these structures can represent arterial branching. Arterial bifurcations allow throughout the human body where one blood vessel divides into multiple branches. Understanding these geometries is important for studying blood flow patterns and how changes in vessel structure affect circulation. Another application is cancer research. Geometric modeling can help describe the movement of cancer cells through biological environments and investigate how cells interact with surrounding structures. Beyond biology, these concepts are also relevant to medical engineering, including the design of surgical instruments, computational simulations, and treatment planning systems. The common theme across these applications is that mathematical geometry provides a framework for representing complex physical systems. To conclude, geometric intersection methods provide an important connection between mathematics, computation, and real-world applications. The study of particle trajectories intersecting with planes and convex surfaces has played an important role in computational methods such as electrophoton Monte Carlo simulations. The same mathematical concepts can also be applied to biomedical problems, particularly when structures can be represented using geometric models. Minimally invasive neurosurgery provides a clear example of this connection, where trajectories, cylindrical guides, and target regions can all be described using mathematical objects. Although biological systems are complex and require further improvements in modeling, geometric methods provide a valuable foundation for developing more accurate simulations and medical technologies. Ultimately, this work demonstrates how mathematical ideas developed in computational geometry can contribute to solving important problems in medicine and engineering. Thank you.